So I'm not going to say that it reinvented the wheel. I mean, let's be real. Nosferatu is a remake of essentially a knockoff of Dracula. You had the first one in 1922, I believe, was the release date, and they couldn't secure the rights for the story Dracula because I almost said Van Helsing, one of Bram Stoker's relatives held the copyright for it, so it wouldn't happen for another decade or so. So they basically just like took the exact same story and they just changed all the names and shit. But interestingly enough, it stands out as its own film, particularly because of the actual design of Nosferatu himself. We'll get back to that in a sec. But it's inspired a lot of movies, that have come forward. I mean, like, Pete from What We Do in the Shadows, Barlow from Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot, remake. Anyways, um, and then in 1979, Werner Herzog did a remake to it, starring Isabella Gianni and Klaus Kinski, who is in fact in real life an actual Nosferatu. That guy's a dick. Anyhow, and that one, while it did have the bleakest ending of all the other ones, it was probably my least favorite. Then you get to 2024. And my man, Robert Eggers, okay? This man, everything, he has the Midas touch on film, okay? Everything he does is so beautiful. And they're always period pieces, and they always transport you. You always feel like you are experiencing the fears of the people of that time. He was very good in the Vivitch, as I like to call it. The Lighthouse is probably my favorite. And even The Northman, which wasn't a horror film, it's an old Viking version of Hamlet. It's what Hamlet was based on, which was an old Viking thing. Prince Amleth, take the H, put it at the end. I didn't know that. That's really freaking cool. But he really does a good job building the atmosphere of all these movies. And, in this day and age, I typically don't go to theaters with very high hopes. I've been let down so many different times. 2023 was one of the worst years ever. This film delivers. And I went in expecting it to deliver, and it actually might have even been a little bit better than I thought it was. If there is one thing, it didn't bother me, but I could see it bothering certain fans, okay? There is something about the design of Nosferatu. There's a couple things about the design of Nosferatu that's a little bit different in this one. Again, I liked it. Not everybody probably will, but I digress. Wow, like, I mean, where do I begin? Like, the music, the atmosphere, the architecture, the practical effects, it's all just terrific, and it's a good eerie movie. And like I said, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's familiar territory. But I just remember sitting in the theater and thinking to myself, like, they don't make movies like this anymore, or at least I haven't seen a movie like this in a really, really long time. I really enjoyed it. Bill Skarsgård, holy shit. Like, that dude is a phenomenal actor. I hear that he worked with like some sort of an opera singer or something like that to basically drop his voice a couple octaves. Looks wise, sound wise, could not tell it was him. I mean, he blended into that role so beautifully. Dude's going places, all right? And then you got Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, as if you guys have followed this channel for a while, Johnny Depp, he's my boy. I love him. And his daughter, Lily Rose, she does a fantastic job. This role required a lot of her. She really had to go from like several different emotions in like a solitary scene, from going like she's possessed, like batshit insane, to like apologetic to hateful. Like, I mean, she just did a fantastic job. Everybody in the movie was great. Nick Holt, everybody likes Nick Holt. I will say that Willem Dafoe as I'll just call him Van Helsing. I don't know what the character's name is in Nosferatu, but it's Van Helsing. I would say next to Tony Hopkins, he is my favorite Van Helsing or Van Helsing adjacent portrayal ever. Okay, no, you know what? There is one thing that I was thinking about. I mean, you're being really technical about it, but there was something that was added to the ending. I won't get into spoilers, that made the way the story ends maybe not have to end that way, which I just found myself kind of asking, like, well, why did they go through with this whole thing if they were going to do this? For those of you who've already seen the film, you might know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was like the only other thing. But atmospherically, it was cool. I like that the vampire is like this elemental evil. He looks like rotting, disgusting. He like even when the ship like makes port in Germany, right? It like unleashes a plague. There's like a shit ton of rats on the ship and stuff like that, and it's a plague that overtakes the town. He is like a plague. There's nothing like there's no humanity to this character. This is the damn devil, you know. And it was really good. The movie was very moody and it had this uneasy feel from beginning to end. Had a decent amount of gore. Had a lot more boobs than I was expecting. I was not expecting as much nudity as we got in this movie. Still doesn't top the Bram Stoker's Dracula from the '90s, but there's a couple in there. Anyhow, yeah, another complete and total triumph from Robert Eggers, in my opinion. I don't know what my exact ranking would be of his films. I do know that Lighthouse is my favorite, but I'd have to watch them all again to really kind of suss out that list. But Nosferatu, if you're a Robert Eggers fan, he doesn't disappoint. If you're not a Robert Eggers fan, you're still probably going to like it if you like period piece films and horror films that are very well constructed and moody and atmospheric. You'll enjoy it. So yeah, can't recommend this movie enough. Really, really enjoyed it. It pays like perfect homage to the original. I like it better than the Klaus Kinski. What's his face? The guy who talks. This house is haunted and disgusting. Werner Herzog. There we go. Anyhow, yeah, it's better than that one. I would say that. I mean, from a technical standpoint, it's better than the original, but you can't pick on the original too much. I mean, it was made in 19 freaking 22. I mean, what even was a movie back then, And they came up with that classic design. So again, credit where credit's due. But yeah, definitely go see it in theaters. It deserves it. This movie deserves to make a lot of money. I think you will enjoy it, whether you do or you don't, or if you did or didn't. Comment below and let me know what you thought. We'll have an awesome conversation about it. I appreciate you guys watching. Happy New Year. And that's all she wrote.